Mr. Truck,
Yes.
are you ready to tackle the world's toughest towing test in this F-150?
I want to see just how fast 570 pound-feet of torque can go up the on-ramp.
On this episode of TFL Truck, we're gonna figure out what tows better. Is it an SUV or a truck?
Wow, what a choice. What does this remind you of? We're up by the tunnels. It's snowing. What does this mean?
It's the iGauntlet. We have a Nissan Armada, the brand new one, also an F-150 hybrid, and an 8,100 pound trailer. Let's go down the mountain and up the mountain and figure out what's better.
It's a King Ranch hybrid.
Mr. Truck, are you ready to
I am ready.
begin the icy winter testing?
The icy road with makes braking interesting when you're on ice.
Well,
Don't you
so
love it?
it's not, of course I'm kidding, but it did snow yesterday.
Yes.
And we monitored everything, but we're starting our downhill in the F-150.
Yep.
This is the hybrid, of course.
This is cool. This road, the sign coming out of the tunnel did say icy road, but
Yeah.
it looks like it's just wet road here.
Just a little wet, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't even know what the temperature is, but someday I'll find that out.
37.
But 37 degrees, so it's above freezing. Well,
Yeah,
we're
so
fine.
this is my first brake application.
Okay, there's one.
Are you ready for this?
Yes.
So as always, we're gonna count brake applications, both in the F-150 and in the Armada,
Right.
and compare the performance, compare how the tow haul modes work.
We love a good day working in the garage when it gets cold out. Isn't that right, Thomas?
Not really, Case.
Okay, well, I do, and every time I'm in the garage, I make sure to have my Cove Casita boombox speaker. The Casita boombox has a 60-watt output that can light up even the biggest shop space. Check it out.
Better yet, the battery lasts 10 to 12 hours, which is plenty for whatever Case is doing in the garage while I co-manage the project.
For rainy days, the speaker also has an IPX6 water resistance rating, and it's even got a built-in mic to answer your phone calls.
If you press the M button on the top, you can change the sound settings from standard to outdoor and even frickin' 3D.
Click the link in the description below to get early Black Friday pricing and use the promo code FT68 for over 68% off your order. That makes the speaker hundreds less than its competition and the perfect gift for yourself or anyone else this holiday season. Like Tommy.
Broken.
Okay, of course we're using our Gen Y adjustable hitch. We're using our weight distributing bars, and we'll show you later how this truck can actually tell you how to adjust those bars and your tongue weight. It's going to be cool. Well, our ballast for this run is, of course, the TFL truck trailer and their truck with a weight of 8,100 pounds, this old Ford, and this car trailer.
Truck weighs about 5,100 pounds. The trailer weighs about 3,000. So this is a weight that a standard about 28-foot camping trailer would weigh, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe like a 26-foot boat.
But there's just no hard work for this truck that tows 12,400.
I know, this truck has a maximum towing package. It's got the fancy shock suspension.
Yeah.
Ford calls it CCD.
CCD, that's some kind of dampening, huh?
Continuously controlled.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a deal.
So this is my second brake application.
Okay, 2. So this hybrid, now in your regens going downhill and braking, will it also kind of slow you down like tow haul mode does?
Well, a little bit, because we do have a smallish battery, right? It's compared to other electric vehicles, it's 1.5 kilowatt hour. So as soon as it's kind of filled up, you're losing that little bit of regen. Mr. Truck, this is also V8 power in the SUV versus twin turbo V6 power right here.
Well, so what? This is 430 horsepower, 570 pound-feet of torque with a hybrid and a 10-speed. It didn't have that 7-speed V8 thing.
Well, it's a good-fashioned V8 power versus new technology here. Nonetheless, if you can see here, we're in third gear. The tow haul mode is engaged, of course. It's been engaged the whole time. And it really downshifted nicely by itself. And because I'm not shifting manually.
Right.
And it's keeping my speed relatively stable.
I wish everybody showed the gears. That is so nice.
It's
to
third
know
gear.
what gear you're in.
Ooh, I have to hit it one more time.
Oh my goodness.
This is number 6, which is still, not a bad performance.
I hope 6 would be the end of it. I'd be happy if it was.
You would be a happy camper?
I would be a happy camper.
Mr. Truck, we're leveling out,
Okay.
and it's maintaining speed.
Oh, well, that's good. So we have to do a 5?
That was 6.
That was 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that wasn't too bad.
If that's where it ends up, that's good. I mean, yeah, we've had them a lot worse and some better. But
Yeah. So a couple of years ago, in one of these trucks, we probably had like 10 or 11 brake
yes,
applications.
yes, and there
Yeah.
might have been a 12 in there somewhere. Seems like we had.
Yeah, so 6 is actually really good performance for this new generation of the F-150.
That's good. Even though this still is a 2021.
Yep.
So I doubt there's a whole lot of changes in the hybrid for 22, but here we are.
There you have it. So let's go up the mountain now. We get this question from you quite a lot. I have a trailer, it weighs about 8,000 pounds. Should I buy an SUV, a full size like this Armada for 2022, or a pickup truck, a full size truck like this F-150? What's better? How do they tow? What's what? That's exactly why we're doing this extreme test. So as always, we are starting this uphill at 35 miles an hour, and I'm gonna reset my trip meter, the timer, and nail the throttle right now.
Holy cow. Are you nailing it?
Yep.
And then pulling back in the seat, I thought I bet hurt my hat or something. But nothing happened.
Well, we're still in third gear,
Oh,
and boom, that's it.
holy cow. We're at 60, huh?
Yeah, that was pretty
Wow,
easy.
Wow.
All right, tow haul mode enabled. We're about to tackle it. So, Mr. Truck, what do you think about this ride with these fancy adjustable shocks?
Well, it's pretty hard to judge. To me, it feels like a regular 150, but they say it's better. They do the shock with different orifices, kind of like what's on a Raptor, but a little more sophisticated.
Yeah.
Which is different than GM. They use that magnetic, the metal in the oil, and all kinds of other stuff. They have some fancy things too, but like now we're on a rough road because of the chains. We're here in the winter, and the chains have not all been fixed on the road. They got all their marks
Yeah.
and potholes, but to me, it felt pretty rough. What do you think?
I think so. Yeah. So first of all, we do have some load.
Yeah.
Obviously, we squatted it just a bit, although we're using a weight distribution hitch. But dude, this truck these CCD shocks are so smart. It has onboard scales and the smart hitch feature.
Oh, I love that. That is so. I mean, I hope they start making enough of these. They can start advertising because that scale is so cool. Where it uses 4-corner sensors, and we think it's all in the shocks and everywhere else. And a friend of mine developed it for it, and it is so awesome. It'll weigh your payload, and you can set it to 0. So after you know what your weight of your truck and everything is, you put it on 0, and it just weighs what you add to that weight, which is so awesome.
Yeah,
And
it makes a lot of sense.
Yes, and you never have to weigh your mother-in-law twice again,
Uh-huh.
like we used to have to do.
Really?
Yeah, but that's so awesome. And then they actually you got to know the weight of the trailer, but then it will actually measure the tongue weight,
Right.
which is part of the payload. And when you put a weight distributing hitch, it'll tell you how to adjust it, which is and you really need that option, by golly. It's awesome.
And here's how it worked for me. We could show the video now and then talk about it. Here's how this new smart hitch feature actually work. It's all in the name of safety, of course, which I actually really love because the iGauntlet is a little tricky. I'm going to be using a weight distribution hitch attachment. There's also, of course, gooseneck and fifth wheel type attachments. I'm going to go to my connection checklist and make sure it's disconnected. Okay. Hitch weight and save the front axle load. This is exactly what I want to do. I want to basically zero out my load. Yes. And of course there are height sensors and fancy smart shocks here to allow me to measure the squat of the truck. I know that this trailer weighs about 8,100 pounds. So I'm gonna set it at 82 because that's what the system is allowing me to do. Connect and lock the ball coupler. Let's do that. Okay, I just connected the trailer, put the weight on the hitch. Make electrical connection, I'll do that in a sec. Cross chains. Did that. Light check. Can actually cycle through all the lights. Nice. Raise the tongue. Yep. And now here's my weight. So this is with 2 people and the weight of the trailer. I'm still within my payload capacity, and I'm within 10 to 15%. That's just perfect. The next step is to attach the weight distribution bars, and this may actually shift some of the weight around because it should transfer the weight to the front axle of the truck a little bit more, and also towards the back of the trailer, so it should be nice and even. Let me do that. I just attached the weight distribution arms and increase tension by removing chain links until the load on the front axle is within range. So it's saying there's not enough load on the front. So that's very interesting. So I need to make the bars tighter. Adjust brake controller. Because I'm towing about 8,100 pounds, I'm gonna set it to around 6 gain and then test it as I move forward. So there you have it, about 15 steps. Most of them are very, very quick because it's just a checklist of different connections like chains, breakaway cable. But some of it requires a little bit of work. Adjusting the weight distribution hitch and setting up the trailer so it's nice and level. I'm pretty happy right now with the tongue weight, the distribution, so I'm ready to go. You know, that kind of guide that it gives you,
Right.
maybe is not in the right order for me.
Yeah.
Like I wanted some of those directions to be maybe of different order, but the feature itself is wonderful. The truck and trailer are so level. It's just beautiful, and the ride, you know, is not special. I don't feel like I'm in the Raptor.
Yeah, I really thought it would be
Right.
better than this. I mean, they talk about that dampening thing a lot, and here we are. And I don't know, maybe is it supposed to make it maybe an empty ride better? I don't know. Because empty trucks ride worse, really.
Yes.
The loaded ride is preloaded on the springs by the weight, so you don't bounce as much.
This is a 7% grade, world's toughest towing test, 8-mile run. A perfect time would be 8 minutes. Do you want to, let's measure the sound, huh? Let's see exactly what we have. 65 decibels. So dude, we're approaching the end of the run. It's a little bit cloudy, a little bit wet on the highway here, so trying to maintain all of the safety parameters here.
It's a little foggy too. It's not great visibility right now. We got pretty heavy traffic. This is a Thursday. I'm surprised we have this much traffic.
So Mr. Truck, I can say this F-150 has plenty of power. It was always tugging at the leash, and the ride is pretty comfy and quiet. Let me stop the timer now. Do you want to show them the time?
That's so cool. I get to show you the time. And we know that's the time it's going to be because we're pulling a lighter trailer than the max. And this could pull 12,400. We're pulling, what, 8,100 pounds?
Yeah.
So if this couldn't do it at maximum time, minimum time,
Yeah.
maximum speed, there's something wrong. But yeah, it's under 8 minutes. So that's a good time.
It's perfect. And it was also 3.9 mpg.
3.9, even with a hybrid, that's all.
Yeah. Well, we're using that power.
You know, that's kind of what we learned about this.
What?
With the trailer, it doesn't save you anything. Empty, it saves you gas. It's
Yes.
got cool stuff.
Yeah.
But with a trailer, if you trailer all the time, you don't want this. You don't need this.
Right, but if you're driving around town, it could help you, stop and go. Stop and go.
Especially driving around town. That's just like that Maverick. They jumped up from 40 to 42 miles a gallon in the city.
Yeah.
So that's how hybrids are. They love the city.
Mr. Truck,
What?
can you hear it? It's got an air compressor,
I know, this is the world's slowest air compressor.
but it's supposed to level out and lift us up.
Well, that's all good. I wish it was faster than what it is.
Well, that's okay. Let's
Or it's
measure
very slow.
Let's measure squat. But the thing is, with the fancy shocks on this F-150
Yeah.
and this air suspension in the back of the Armada, they should be level, pretty level with the
Well,
load.
then we should have measured it with it shut off and the compressor not going.
Well, I did measure that
Oh,
earlier.
you did?
Yes.
So you know what the true
'Cause-
squat is.
Yes, because I'm smart.
But if you air it up, then you're not going to know the true squat because it's going to air more than it should.
No,
It's
that's
not
well. What am I supposed to do?
I would just think about it.
So this is approximately 2 inches of squat, maybe
Yeah.
a little bit more.
That's true.
But we're gonna raise it up.
You know, you talk about the V8 power. They should have a V8 air compressor. That's what they need.
After measuring the F-150, unloaded and loaded, it went from about 40 and a quarter to about 38 and a quarter. So that's about 2 inches of squat, which is the same squat as with the Armada. So not too bad.
I love this when the door is on top of this plug, because when it's the other way, like somebody started doing it for a while in the American trucks, then this little tab on this can't connect with the wiring harness and keep it upright. It's got to be on top, guys. Everybody should put them on the top, all you OEMs. Now look at this. This here is where your safety chain goes. And your breakaway cable, look how easy that is to get to. It's sticking out by the hitch. You don't have to go on your knees, no feel for it. Good job, Nissan Armada.
All right, Mr. Truck. So what happens if you don't want a pickup truck? What if you want 3 rows of seats and a massive SUV?
Well, then you're probably talking to the wrong people. I don't know. No, this is a great vehicle for towing. It's got a decent wheelbase. It's got all the room. So it's multi-vehicle stuff.
Multi-use.
Yes, it is. So it's easy to make that car payment if it does everything. Take the family and play with it, go off-roading, and pull your trailer. I mean, with 8,500 pounds, that's nothing to squeal about. That's a decent number.
It's not class leading, but it's very close to the best in the segment, which is right now Ford Expedition, and of course the Grand Wagoneer, the new full-size one.
So your boat doesn't weigh 4,500 pounds, does it?
No, mine
8,500. That's a pretty big boat.
Mine is about 6,000.
So you can pull your boat plus a Sea-Doo in the back end of it.
Heck yeah! So that was the first brake application.
Okay.
Tow haul mode is on. This is a 7-speed, like we said. And you know what? It did downshift, so I'm already getting some benefit from this tow haul mode.
Yes, that's what it's supposed to do. And it says a 7-speed, so you may get more RPM per gear, which I like. You know, I'm still a 10-speed guy, but this may actually do better downhill. But no, that's what I always look for. Now, because it's got rear independent suspension, it's not a perfect trailer tower, but that does give you a better ride. I mean, that's what Expedition is, and actually that's what
everybody's
GM went
switching.
to. Yes,
Yeah.
so that's the common thing.
And Mr. Truck, this is what old-fashioned reliable power is. 5.6 liters of goodness.
It has a lot of plastic. Yeah, this is what 400 horsepower, 413 pound-feet of torque, a 7-speed. Yeah, it's the old technology.
But it's very powerful. And what's this?
Oh, look at this. This is the air filter. It's big as a truck. You can store your laundry in there. Look at that giant tube. My gosh, this is bigger than the engine.
We do not recommend storing your laundry in here. No, absolutely not. One thing I can immediately tell, first of all, I don't hear the hitch banging. Some SUVs, you could hear that. Right?
Yeah.
So this is totally insulated because it's a frame-based SUV.
Right.
The ride is really nice, in my opinion. Even with this load, which is near its maximum, in fact. Even with this load, the ride is quite nice.
Well, that's true, and you know it's level, it's running right. I don't see anything wrong with any of this.
I have to touch it again.
Oh,
That's number 9.
No, number 9.
But it's almost at the end. We're almost at the end.
Oh, I thought the 7-speed with the higher RPM would do better than that. I mean,
And the big displacement.
Yeah, it's a big engine. 5.6.
Yep. Well, Mr. Truck, that's the result. The truck was a little bit more aggressive with its grade shifting capability.
Right.
And of course the hybrid probably had a little bit of regen.
Well, when you think about it,
Yeah.
it's 570 foot-pounds of torque. It can tow a 12,400 pound trailer. So this trailer we have on here is not even stressing it. Where this trailer's with this Armada is almost maxed out.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Truck, are you ready?
I am ready.
We're gonna tackle this mountain once again, 35 miles an hour as before, and let's listen to this V8 engine roar. Now! Well, it's refined.
Well, actually, I do like the sound of this 5.6 V8. It does have a good rumble. See right there, you're getting up to 5,000 RPM. It roars. It's got thunder.
Yes.
It's good.
6,000 RPM, dude.
Really?
That was a lot of RPM.
Wow. Now, why didn't it do that going down the hill?
Well, I don't know. It didn't want to.
Might have slowed down more.
It didn't want to. So not quite as punchy as those twin turbos, right?
Well, yeah.
But nonetheless, wonderful power still.
Yeah, it sounds good, and this is plenty for this size of a trailer. You can accelerate past people, merge, and all that, towing 8,100 pounds pretty well with this.
Yes. And of course, tow haul mode is enabled, and yeah, I'm all set, dude. Okay, so I'm pedal to the metal, dude. I am maxed out. You know, I'm pushing through the bottom of the floor.
You're wide open at 60 miles an hour?
Yes.
Wow. Well, I guess that's...
Well, this is elevation. That's what it does for you.
That's a good time if it can hold it.
Come on, truck. You can do it.
We need more passengers.
We could.
Give it some traction.
By the way, this Armada has over 1,400 pounds of payload, which is a little bit more than that F-150 right there.
Yeah, a couple hundred pounds, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. So you can haul more stuff in the Armada than you could in the 150? What's up with that?
Well, because they're really luxury F-150.
Yeah,
that's why.
I know. It's King Ranch. It's got all the vibrating seats. This doesn't have vibrating seat, does it?
No, but it does have heated seats.
Well, that's good.
But Mr. Truck, if you want to tow a larger trailer, like a large boat or a camper or utility trailer, SUV is also an answer, right?
Well, that's true. And this is a body-on-frame, as I recall, rear-wheel drive. So this has a lot of characteristics of a truck. So I would have no problem pulling a trailer with this. And at tow rate of 8,500, we're pulling 8,100 with it today. We'll be fine.
Yeah, and look at this. I'm really glad for the most recent redesign update. They included, look at this. They included the brake controller integrated.
I'm supposed to push that lever.
Oh, do you like the positioning of this?
Well, it's decent. Yes, actually, for this layout with this console, it's probably the only place I could put it. And it's fine. I can get to it quickly. That's the whole idea. If you need to brake the trailer separately, you need to get to this lever quickly so that you can control the trailer and not have the truck sway all over the place. That's the worst thing you can do is hit the foot brakes of the truck when you're in a sway condition. You only want to hit the brake controller and get that trailer straightened out.
You know what? I'm barely keeping up with 60 miles per hour. Let me check again. Yes, I am at 60, but I'm maxed out. I don't have any more acceleration available right now. Maybe I could manually downshift.
That's what I was thinking. How much higher would the RPMs go if you manually downshift?
I don't know, but I mean, I could try, I guess, but
looks like it's not oversteering or wearing you out.
No,
it's doing good.
And there's, you know, I feel like I have plenty steering. You know, sometimes when you squat too much, the steering gets lighter.
Yeah, it floats a little. Yeah.
I don't feel that at all. I think it's pretty solid.
Well, that's good. That's good. That's good on a shorter wheelbase. This is a shorter wheelbase than the 150.
Yeah. And you know what, Mr. Truck? I'm at 58 miles per hour, so I'm not quite. I'm maxed out on my accelerator.
Well, you know, when you get down to 3,500, you could downshift if you wanted to. You'd have plenty of room. But it's your test. You decide how to do it.
Yeah. If I drop any more, I'm going to do it. So, let's see. We'll measure the sound check once it's revving a little bit higher. So you want to measure sound?
Okay.
It's 73. It was a little bit louder with that V8 roaring.
That's true. You wrapped up the engine almost 6,000 RPM. So you maxed out the RPMs, and that's what it is maximum. So if we were jumping back down to 3,500, which I don't know, you won't be 60 miles an hour if you do that. That might give you get you in the low 70s.
Well, we're almost done with this uphill run. Once again, we got a little bit of moisture on the roadway and traffic. People squeezing me on both sides. Just another inch. Come on.
Well, you're staying in the power band. Well, you're staying in the horsepower band.
Oh, yeah. Let's let it roar. Let it roar!
We're so close. Oh my goodness, that guy is slowing down.
No, slowing down, stop! Okay.
And I thought you were going to hit 8, but you didn't. You got 8.8.
Do you want to show them the time?
8.08. Yeah.
4.2 mpg.
Okay, that's decent. It's 8.08 minutes. 8 minutes and 8 seconds.
So just a little bit slower than our benchmark, which is 8 minutes.
Yes, it almost got there.
So, Mr. Truck, here's the final question. Do we have a clear winner or not?
I would say we do.
Why is that?
Because one of them braked shorter runs, and one of them accelerated better, and one of them didn't have an air compressor.
Well, I think what you mean is the Nissan Armada had a few more brake applications, about 3 more. It was a little bit slower up the mountain,
Yes.
but it was more efficient up the mountain. And listen to this. Listen to this. It's a lot more affordable. $64,000 for this Armada versus what? Almost $77,000 for the Ford?
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I have nothing against the Armada. I just don't like that slow air compressor. But yeah, it did okay. I mean, you think about it, it was almost a capacity.
Yes.
It can do 85. We had 8,100. This one was a long ways off. You go up to 12,400, and we were 8,100. So we didn't really stress out the Ford. So I wouldn't put that against the Armada, just that air compressor.
And Mr. Truck, my bottom line is, if you did want to tow about 8,000 pounds like we did, I think the SUV would do the job. It may not be quite as punchy on the top, climbing a mountain like this, but it's okay. And of course, the truck like this will just make it easier.
Yeah, and making better fuel mileage on the Armada, that's impressive when you got this hybrid over here, which doesn't help you at all with the trailer. So yeah, that's you're fine. You had no problem having either one of these choices, but that's the difference. One will go faster, one gets better fuel mileage.
And go back to TFLtruck.com and where else?
MrTruck.com.
Before we fly away.
Yes, the wind. This is like a night gauntlet, man. Snow, wind, cold. And there he goes. There he goes.